I don't even know why I'm smiling right now because it was an 0-2 weekend for us, and I'm not excited to talk about it, but it's got to be done. So let's talk some TSM. That's right. Welcome back, everybody. And yeah, I'm still smiling because I got to put on a good show at least. But I, I'll be honest with you. I was out of town this weekend, this past weekend, and I was watching these games. And I just was like, oh my god, this is not great. This is not great for us, to say the least. And when I'm looking at everything that went down this weekend, I have some big takeaways. So let's jump in, to the CLG game first. But actually, before we do that, please like, subscribe, and comment. We've got new gaming, sports content, and esports content coming out every single day, basically. And we would love your guys' support if you haven't already subscribed. And as always, I love hearing from all of you TSM fans, and I appreciate all the support that you give me as we're continuing on through this season, this split. And this CLG game was strange because it always felt like we had a bit of a chance, and the game, the gold graph and everything kind of shows that. It's just very strange to me, to be honest with you, that I know most of their kills and stuff started coming a little bit later, but we were supposed to scale better. I kept banking on, we've gotten good scaling. Let's kind of see what happens here. And, we basically got beat with a comp that we run pretty regularly. And by champions, we had champions that I don't get it. We win when we play one way, and then we lose when we play any other way, any other strategy, right? And walking through this, I'm cool with Boogie getting the Maokai, although he hasn't looked exactly comfortable on it. He doesn't feel like he has been all that creative with his use in ultimates. We were able to get the Caitlyn through. I think most people will probably let the Caitlyn through now on us, to be honest with you. And I hate that. I don't like it. This game should have been better. It's crazy to me when kind of rewatching this and reminding myself that they had 5 dragons, guys. 5 freaking dragons. I've said this before. I will say it again. Dragons win you games, right? Look at this. 2, let me count them again. 2 Rift Heralds, 0 dragons, 0 win. Okay? Sometimes you got to trade for stuff. I get it. And Solo is going to have the push as the Renekton. Great. But that's not what this team does. It's not. I don't really truly understand why all of a sudden we're like, hey, we're going to just throw Solo up there as Renekton. And I know that he gets a little bit beefier and a little bit more bruisery, especially later in the game, but didn't feel like Solo wanted to play that way, obviously, building the Gore Drinker. And so, I don't know. I really didn't understand what he was trying to do, especially when you're going into the Scion. I mean, if you don't win that lane very quickly, and then, the other thing is, I know the Scion was, I believe was last pick or one of the last picks, but, Scion is going to get to a point where he's so beefy that the burst from Maple is not going to matter, right? Even Neo is probably going to have, it's going to take a while for him to kind of rip through that, and especially when, he's going with Gale Force instead, which you had to go through, but it was just, I don't know. I didn't like this comp. You're supposed to have push in the bot lane with Karma and with Caitlyn. You clearly didn't. You didn't get a single freaking dragon. And it just feels like we're at a bit of an impasse here to where this team wants to try to play different styles, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, this is who they are. We have a certain bread and butter that we need to consistently use. And there are variations to that, but it kind of needs to stay the same, right? It needs to be Solo, not on a bruiser, but truly on a tank. And even if he is on a bruiser, you don't put focus towards that lane. It doesn't matter if he's winning it. That's fine, great. right? You can pick up some Rift Heralds maybe later, whatever. But like the other part is this was a scaling comp. Kassadin just blares out, right? Siren, hey, we're going to late game. And yet they didn't do anything. Like they gave up the one thing that made that completely useless, which was again dragons. Okay? Constantly in fights, it felt like we just had no idea who to focus down. You know, we're sitting there hitting this freaking Scion, and it's like, why is nobody jumping onto Luger? Luger's going to ends up having probably his best game of the year. And, you know, Contracts wasn't even that active outside of Solo seemingly being unable to realize that he's going to get ganked. Like, I didn't really like this comp. I felt like, honestly, like Azir probably would have been better. It just takes too long for Kassadin to start scaling, especially if the team is just doing nothing and then you're giving up dragons already at that point. So you're not putting yourself in a position to actually really do anything. And like Neo's Caitlyn wasn't bad, especially in lane. Like it wasn't good, but wasn't bad in lane. But then during team fights and everything, he just felt completely useless. I didn't really feel like he was moving around all that well. I didn't really like the Karma pick either. It didn't feel like enough peel, honestly, from her for Neo. And I don't know. I felt like this game, the fact that it went to 37, almost 38 minutes, basically, and we were still in it at that point, just shows, in my opinion, that we are the better team. Still, I fully believe that, and I think if we play them again, I think we will beat them, but I'm really disappointed because I think this is a game we should have won. I don't think we drafted terribly, but I just don't think that's how we execute. I just don't. So, yeah, I was a little disappointed in these games, if I'm being honest with you. I shouldn't even say a little. I was pretty disappointed in the way that these went, but you know, there's always the next game, and we went into the Cloud9 game, and that was worse somehow, even though it felt like Neo was playing well. This was probably the worst game I've seen out of Chime this year. It's not just the deaths. It just felt like he was missing hooks to get away from stuff. He was not hooking the right things. It didn't feel like he was taking the right opportunities. And, you know, we allowed ourselves to lose to a freaking Rengar, which is not great. You know, and it felt like Maple Maple had probably his worst weekend of the split, to be honest with you. It just didn't feel like he was able to have much of an impact. They weren't able to set up for the plays that they wanted. I actually didn't really mind Solo's Cassante. I think I'd add that in. I know that Cassante's a much beefier bruiser, right? You know, there's kind of like your middle of the line bruisers, your beefier bruisers, and your attacking bruisers. Beefy bruiser, I'm okay with because it's a lot more tanky, and it can still make plays. I think Solo generally played okay, but you know, the rest of the team just wasn't great. Like I just didn't. Boogie has missed a lot of cocoons, which just really makes me wonder about what we're doing right now. When that's supposed to be his best champion, and he's going 1-5-4 on it, right? And he's not even able to outclear the Rengar, and it just. This game was just another one that felt lost pretty early on. I mean, I think Neo actually played pretty well. Not just stat line wise, but I felt like he was generally in better positions. I felt like his Qs were on target, which was nice. But the rest of the team just played pretty badly, to be honest with you. And if we weren't going to get ahead early, we certainly weren't going to outscale the Sivir and the Scion and the Ashe. So I don't know. We just didn't. I mean, I'm trying to look for like a super positive thing here. I mean, I guess, you know, Neo's damage was pretty good. It just was. I don't know. It was just a weird weekend. I didn't really understand some of our draft picks here. I actually felt like this one was pretty good, but I didn't feel like we executed it very well into a C9 team that I was like secretly thinking maybe we could win this. Like I know Eminez has been really good down in challengers, but as a fan, I'm frustrated by this weekend because A 1-1 weekend would have done a lot for us. As you can see below me, I keep our win counter. We still have plenty of time, for our 3 wins that we need. But this 0-2 weekend really hurt us in my mind. We still just only need to win one more game per week, and that should get us there. And that includes a super week where we have 3 games. So, we have time. The panic button has not been hit yet, but even with 7 games left, you got to go around 500 essentially. You can't have another weekend like this, otherwise you're in trouble. And we still haven't played FlyQuest again. We still haven't played. Obviously, like, this is the beginning of the second round robin, so luckily we will play Dignitas again, although they look a little bit better with a more competent AD carry. We will play Team Liquid next week, which we'll be discussing that game. And then, we still have Immortals as well. So we really need to beat Immortals. We really need to beat Dignitas. And then we need to find a win somewhere else. And that will hopefully get us over. I don't know, because it's a tight race right now. We're sitting there at 5 and 6. And yeah, I mean, it is a race. And we've got to find some wins. I really was hoping that CLG game would be it. I really was. And I think we kind of tried something cute and it didn't work, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Are you guys panicking yet or not? I'm really not yet. This weekend's going to be an important one, though. This coming week, I should say, with Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid. It's not exactly going to be an easy week, but we'll have to see what happens. And I'll be talking about that on the next one. So with that, I'll see y'all on the next one.